So tell me, how did you find your way to be here today? Tell me.
Actually, I'm a long-term admirer of Derek Jensen and his incredible writings and insights and clarity of thinking. And so I called him up and did an interview with him for my website and fell metaphorically in love with him. And he told me about this conference. And I think if Derek recommended it, I want to be there because I have that. He has a profound understanding of what we need to do, in my opinion. So that's why I'm here.
So you've come a long ways and you have a message you want everybody to carry home with them. You just gave a wonderful presentation. What is your message that you want to drive home into people's hearts?
Well, I live with these animals often for their lifetime, these wild animals from the bears and wolves, etc., who are rescued. And they've shown me these incredible stories of who they are, depths that I would never have understood. Of their spirituality, of their capacity to connect, of their capacity to help us, of their responsiveness to our helping them, and the absolute beauty that's available for us, and the magic and the companionship that's available for us. And I just can't bear the thought of us going around blind and deaf and not knowing it and losing it without seeing the magic that's there for us. So my focus is on on the beauty and how we can win. Like win-win. Keep them on the earth is a win-win. Losing them is a lose-lose. And I just need to share with people who they are. And they serve as a portal into understanding the magic of nature and the whole universe. They're a portal in. That's easier for people to understand than perhaps a tree or a plant or theory. So I just have these stories to share that have blown me away. And I feel obligated to share them.
Obligated, and why would you think this is so important for people to know now?
It's important partly because we're desperate, we're scared, we're alone, we're lost, we're empty. So from a human point of view, that profound loneliness we feel, and we know somehow something's wrong, but we don't know what it is. From my opinion and experience, and many others, it's a disconnection from our very roots, the roots that birthed us, which is the earth. If we're disconnected from our roots, we're lost and we're scattered. So it's for us to heal, and if we heal, we'll start to heal the earth. So it's a positive thing all around. And we're coming to a crisis time. And in a crisis time, it's more important than ever to be grounded and nurtured, so we don't make crazy decisions or hysterical decisions. We make clear, sane decisions in the service of life. There's such peace and wisdom and joy available to us, and it's all around us. Outside wisdom and inside wisdom. We just don't attend.
Well, you were sharing such a deep thought as to why it's so important now to recognize connections with all life, and maybe we can explore this in terms of what it means to be a human being today, in 2019. What's your thoughts about that?
What it takes to be a human being?
What does it mean to be a human being today?
I think we're extremely conflicted, and I think it has something to do with two levels of development. Our brains are wired for survival, which means anger, jealousy, fear, territoriality, self-esteem, all the things that cause trouble. And our brains are also wired for beauty and connection and spirituality. And I think it's a crisis time for us to begin to overcome the hardcore biological survival wiring and begin to activate our spiritual wiring, the forebrain. Buddhism does that really well with mindfulness and meditation, and there are other traditions that do that. It's essential for us to do that. It's almost like we're at a crisis point, not just of the earth, but of our human journey. Are we going to give in and basically dissolve? Will we be a failed experiment? Or are we at the beginning of an incredibly exciting part of our journey as we begin to become more human in the sense of truly connecting to, loving, and nurturing all life?
The word resilience comes to mind. Or are we truly, in inspired to be resilient.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give people? How can people maintain resilience in an ever-changing world? Resilience in a world surrounded by people that want to fire rifles at wolves and bears.
Well, the first thing is to stay connected to nature, go out for a walk every day, because there's a great peace and wisdom that's there for us just for the walk. That's one. And one Buddhist teacher made a suggestion that we meditate 108 times a day, which is about every 10 minutes. And you could do it for 30 seconds. But it's bringing us back and reminding our brain and re-educating our brain from the hardcore biological wiring to our higher spiritual wisdom. And I don't even know if the word is spiritual, but it's a deep connection with something that's greater than us, that has a wisdom that we also have and can pull on. And it's so hard for us to break habits, and so hard to resist all the pressures, that I thought that was great advice. Even if it's 30 seconds, every 10 minutes, it's bringing you back to sanity, retraining our brain away from all the pressures to our own connection with ourselves and the greater wisdom. So I talked about many healing stories, and the healing stories were not just with one species. It was with wolves, it was with bears, it's with cougars, it's with foxes, it's with porcupines. It's across species. And the common denominator was their being incredibly open to healing when it was offered in a clear and loving way, and also the other way around, that they can help heal us. If you make a connection with another living being, it's a connection. And then energy can flow back and forth, and we can heal one another, and both of us can start to glow and heal. And I think that's true with all life. I think it's true with animals. I think we can do it with a tree. I have a tree that I swear glows when I tell it it's beautiful, energetically. It's just a beautiful thing, and it's healing. So most of these healing stories, I loved them. I didn't want them to die. I found alternative healings that were based on energy, and the animals just opened up and bloomed and healed. Against all odds, a paralyzed bear walking again, a wolf who had distemper and was all distorted and crippled, living a full, healthy life, a wolf who had a near-death experience and completely changed and became an ambassador for wolves with humans and telepathic. They all had, they were able, partly it's probably those particular stories is because they were vulnerable. And when they were vulnerable and couldn't do anything, something loving happened to them, so they could begin to trust because they couldn't fight back. And then once they realized they could trust when they were in a vulnerable state, something switched. And they wanted to connect, and they wanted to heal, and they did. Thank you for this opportunity to share their voices, because I think it's so important for them and for us to know what a magical world we live in. Well, thank you.